The chosen text for my case study is a picture book called Bev and Kev. It is authored by Katrina Gurman and beautifully illustrated by Mandy Foote. Now, I've chosen this book because I believe the techniques used by both Gurman and Foote to demonstrate high quality literature, and I'm really looking forward to exploring that further throughout the next few weeks.
The narrative follows the protagonist, Bev the giraffe, on a profound journey that unfolds both literally and metaphorically as she seeks a place that feels right for her. Ultimately, Bev does discover her place in the world. However, readers will come to realise that this place is more than just a physical location. Instead, it embodies a sense of self, the strength found in friendship, and the feeling of belonging that she gains through her interactions with the supporting character Kev. According to McDonald 2023, high quality literature serves as a valuable resource in early childhood education, especially when being used as a mentor text. A mentor text is a guiding example for both reading and writing skills. It showcases a variety of literary elements such as character development, plot structure, dialogue, and complex language. Bev and Kev is a high quality literary text that can be used as a mentor text to begin the process of reading like a writer. By engaging with Bev and Kev in the classroom, young students can recognise the techniques used by the author and illustrator. For example, they can identify the narrative structure, which includes a very clear orientation, complication, and resolution. There are also other techniques used, such as onomatopoeia. When students can recognise these techniques, they can start to analyse the metaphors, analogies, and relate it to their own personal lives. According to McDonald, it is imperative for teachers to model and demonstrate these strategies as well, providing examples of how the author's style was applied. After this foundation is laid, students can begin their own text production. For the purpose of this case study, I'll be honing my focus on the early years, emphasising on foundational level. Bev and Kev can help children recognise the parallels between text and stories and their own personal experiences. This exploration can empower children to forge meaningful connections with the text. It not only deepens comprehension but also fosters critical thinking and emotional intelligence as a reader relates the story of Bev and Kev to their own individual journeys. The likeable animal characters Bev and Kev allow readers to explore and delve deeper into the character development, traits, and how they help to construct the plot and the themes. Discussions about the book can allow children to delve into and analyse the features and elements of a narrative.
Bev and Kev is an example of animal fantasy. In Bev and Kev, we encounter the two main participants, Bev and Kev, and they exhibit human-like traits such as emotions, friendships, and interactions together. We also discover different characters in the book who are also animals who talk to each other in English. So this concept is called, you have to bear with me, anthropomorphism.
This creates a setting that enhances the fantasy of the text. According to McDonald, anthropomorphism is a common element used in fantasy literature, allowing readers to connect with characters on a personal level despite being non-human. An example of this can be seen in the interaction between Bev and Kev as they share stories on their walk. These are qualities of human interactions. However, when Kev mentions his ability to fly, it introduces that element of fantasy into their dialogue.
The relationship between the two main characters that forms throughout the book serves as a symbol for friendship and diversity. In reality, such interspecies relationships do not exist in the same manner that is portrayed in the book. However, this portrayal encourages the reader to embrace diversity and the importance of being kind to others, even if they seem different from ourselves.
Using animals instead of human characters is an intentional technique used by the author to avoid stereotyping. Notably, gender does not play a significant role in the story either. McDonald suggests that social structures often dictate character interactions in literature. Given Australia's rich diversity of cultural backgrounds, beliefs, and values, the fantasy genre serves as an excellent tool for exploring these complexities. The reader explores the interactions between Bev and the other animals who clearly exhibit a sense of fear and indifference towards her. This is evident in the comments they make, as well as Mandy Foote's illustrations of the animals' facial expressions. This portrayal is deeply rooted in Australia's history, particularly when we listen to the voices and perspective of our First Nation people and people who have migrated from different countries.
MacDonald suggests that young students are capable of engaging with the themes and narratives surrounding history, culture, race, society, and gender when these concepts are presented to them in literature.
The book is narrated from a third-person point of view. Gurman's writing style evokes deep emotions, fostering a connection between the reader and the two main participants. An example of this is found in the statement, "Bev dropped her head and tried to be small." This is another literal and metaphorical message. It conveys the emotional impact that Bev's height has on her personal image. This statement is accompanied by Foot's illustration, which depicts Bev's long legs awkwardly attempting to bend down. The details in her facial expression, her eyelids drawn low and her nose appearing as if it is on the verge of sniffling, also complements Gurman's writing.
Bev's character development is central to the overarching themes of acceptance and self-discovery. At the very beginning, readers are introduced to the plot.
Bev grapples with feelings of rejection from her fellow animals, which ultimately leads her to make the decision to leave her familiar surroundings. Gurman uses a range of synonyms to describe Bev as tall. She highlights this on each page in larger font, with the font getting larger and larger on each page. Another visual representation cleverly used by Gurman. Another writing technique that is present among Bev's journey is a repetition of the statement, "Bev kept going." It creates a rhythm, and for young readers, it builds up excitement.
This portrayal sets the tone to understand Bev's vulnerabilities. As the narrative progresses, a significant turning point occurs when Bev meets Kev.
Readers are introduced to Kev through onomatopoeia. This introduction marks a profound shift in Bev's demeanour, which is captured through both visual and textual elements. The illustrations effectively convey this change. We observe a noticeable difference in Bev's facial expressions. Gurman's writing further emphasises this transformation with strong descriptions such as, "Bev stood up a little taller." This statement serves as a metaphor for her newfound confidence and resilience. It encapsulates not only a physical change, but also signifies an internal shift in how she perceives herself and her place within the world around her. Through these techniques, readers witness Bev's growth from a state of insecurity to one of empowerment.
Through engaging with Bev and Kev, young students will learn the significance of plot structure. This understanding will help them learn how to create their own narrative progression.
I decided to draw an illustration that depicts Bev's character progression through the friendship with Kev. It represents two participants holding hands, embarking on a journey together. It is a very subtle hint, but they are standing up together, which represents Bev's courage to stand tall when all Bev wanted to do was to be small and fit in with the other animals. The circle around them resembles the sun, evoking the imagery of the two participants walking hand in hand into the sunset. I gain inspiration from Gurman and Foot, who utilise a waterhole as a powerful symbol. In Bev and Kev, the waterhole serves as a meeting point where animals come to find themselves, imbuing it with a profound significance. I chose to include human participants instead of animals because I really resonated with the story of Bev and Kev on a personal level, and I'm not an animal. It really cemented the idea that animal fantasy can relate to real life. I only recently decided to create markings that resemble birds in the sky. This idea came to me quite spontaneously. I had not previously noticed that there was a bird shadow depicted in the corner of this page in Bev and Kev. And it was even later in the week that I had noticed it on this page as well. Despite studying the book thoroughly over the last few weeks, this detail was completely missed. It was a fascinating realisation and highlights how effectively Gurman and Foot collaborate to incorporate such subtle elements into their work. I created a brown watercolour background. I wanted to use a soft brown to depict the African landscape. I gained inspiration from Mandy Foot as well. I loved the use of colour that she used throughout Bev and Kev. Throughout the narrative, there is a noticeable evolution in colour that mirrors Bev's emotional transformation. The final page is filled with a soothing shade of purple, which signifies a sense of tranquility and content. As MacDonald notes, a change of colour or colour intensity can be used to symbolise various emotional states and themes within a narrative, and I think Mandy Foote and Gurman collaborated so well to do this together. The poem I created is end rhyme, as the final syllables of each line share an identical sound. It creates a musical quality that enhances the overall aesthetic. I hadn't had a lot of experience with creating poetry before. MacDonald helped me to understand what it means to create poetry that is rhythmic, expressive, fluid, and imaginative. It goes like this. In the heart of the savannah, where the tall grasses sway, lived Bev, a giraffe who felt lost every day. With her neck reaching high and her stature
She
so
wandered
grand,
alone through the vast African land. The other animals around her were small and so spry. They played in the meadows while she watched from up high. Their laughter echoed softly, but it pierced through her soul, for Bev felt so different, she longed to feel whole. It was Kev the oxpecker, so small but so wise. He looked up at Bev with bright twinkling eyes. Your height is your strength, they said with a grin. Together we'll journey, let our friendship begin. With Kev by her side, Bev felt lighter that day. Their laughter and stories chased loneliness away. They travelled together through Africa so wide. With each step they took, their bond grew inside. In the first verse, I'm introducing Bev. The next verse depicts an imagery of a lively and happy environment that Bev is looking down on. Here I've employed similar techniques to Gurman using metaphors. This verse creates a contrast between Bev and the other animals, demonstrating how she feels different to them. The term, it pierced through her soul, is a very strong statement. I needed to find a word that rhymed with whole, and it did take me a lot of thinking over the week to find a word that matched this, but also described Bev's feelings. Like the book, I have used the term journey as a symbolism for more than just finding a destination, but the growth of the friendship and Bev's self-discovery. The tone I have used in the third verse is optimistic and inviting. Vocabulary like together and friendship conveys warmth and positivity. The tone can elicit feelings of anticipation in the reader, and I feel as though it is really an emotional, evoking passage. I was really proud of this verse. I would not have been able to create such a powerful message if I had not gone on such a personal journey throughout Bev and Kev. I thought about ending the poem here, but over the week I had some more inspiration and I wanted to extend on it, so I kept going. I wanted the final verse to really summarise and convey the central theme of the book. It communicates how the literal and figurative journey that Bev and Kev went on helped Bev to find her place in the world. A sense of belonging is more than just a place on a map. It's friendship, kindness, and self-love.